Good morning. It's the day. Today is the official release of, guess what? America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. Oh, I am so excited. Oh my goodness. The reviews that are coming in have been fantastic. The book is now available on my website for sure. It's been there for a couple of weeks now. So you can go there, margefenelon.com, and get the book there at my website. But now it's available on the OSV Catholic Bookstore. That's our Sunday Visitor Catholic Bookstore. It is also available at Amazon. But I just checked, and my friends, there are only 2 copies left. So if you want to get your copy from Amazon, now's the time, because it looks like their entire shipment, first shipment, will be gone within minutes, I would expect. So, but don't fear, if you can't get it on Amazon, don't worry, go to margefenelon.com. I've got it there. Well, my friends, as I told you, I will be answering questions today, and I'm hoping that you will post more as the morning goes on. So I've got only 1 hour to spend with you in talking about the book, the fun behind the scenes things, answering your questions. There's a couple of housekeeping items that I'd like to share with you. Please do, please go ahead and enter in the comments your questions. Even if you've entered a question before, please give me questions to answer. I want to learn with you and from you what you want to know about America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. That includes the apparition, that includes the writing of the book, the research, includes what I know or what I've learned of the Belgian people in the Door County area of Wisconsin in the 1800s, mid 1800s. Anything you want, the writing life, ask me questions. But let me first, before I forget, I want to mention that today only, on my website, margefenelon.com, I have set up a special celebration discount just for those of you who are catching this broadcast and for those of you who subscribe to my website. When you subscribe, you become a team member. There's also options for you if you would like to purchase a membership that helps me maintain and grow the site and my ministry. It's all there at margefenelon.com. Regardless, the discount is this: 30% off everything in my online store. That's right. That includes all of my books. That includes any gift items I have in my gift shop. 30% off today only. That stops at midnight. It's ongoing right now. Stops at midnight. And here's the code. So this is the way it works. So that it can be a store-wide discount, I set up a discount code. Very simple. 30 now. Easy to remember. 30 now. That means get your 30% discount now. Anything, everything in my online store. So go to it. You can also get your copy of America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. And I will specially inscribe it for you. I'd love to do that for you. So let's move on. Oh, hey, there's KA, and she says, so great to see you. Well, it's so great to see you, my dear. I'm so thrilled to have you here with me. Oh, I have been pacing the floors the days leading up to this release because I feel like I believe that this is a vitally important book for our time. Absolutely essential for our time. And I want people to know about it, not because of myself, but because of our Blessed Mother. Folks, she came here to our country in my own home state of Wisconsin. But no matter, it's our country, our land, our precious land. She came, she touched the earth, and she spoke a message to a 24-year-old Belgian immigrant woman named Adele Brees and gave her a very particular mission. And that's all in my book, America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. So Remember, you can get that book only today. Today only. 30% off everything in my online bookstore. Any books you buy, I will personally inscribe for you. If you have a special message you want me to put inside, then please do me a favor, send me an email. You can get my email on my website, margefenlon.com as well. Send me an email and say, could you please inscribe my book in this or that way, and I will be happy to do that. Now, next I'd like to talk a little bit about the book, some things you may not know yet. The foreword, I'm just humbled. The foreword is written by Michael O'Neill. And if you don't recognize that name, although you should, he's an EWTN, host. He has so many projects. It's unbelievable. Michael is an amazing man, and he also goes by the Miracle Hunter. So you may know him by the Miracle Hunter. Michael wrote the foreword to my book. I'm so humbled. And to make it even better, so start and finish of my book is so humbling for me because the afterword was written by Father Edward Looney. I've known Father Edward since he was in the seminary, and so I consider him a very good friend. He also is an expert in Mariology. He, on top of that, has been dubbed the Shrine Historian for the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. So to have him write the afterword is, oh my goodness. So he tops off the book. So thank you, Father Edward. I don't know if you're watching. I hope you catch this broadcast at some point because you deserve credit. He also was a great help to me in the writing of the book, directed me to sources and helped me clear up things that were a little sketchy in the documentation, things like that. So he's a big help to me. So is Michael, by the way. And I have to, I know I'm going to get very emotional, but I have to thank the folks at our Sunday Visitor, particularly my editor, Mary Beth, particularly all of those on the editorial team who prayed me through this book. This was, and I don't want to give away any of your questions ahead of time, but this was the hardest book. And I think I say that every book, but maybe this is God's way of challenging me to exercise my spirituality and my writing prowess per se. But it was the hardest book in terms of the obstacles I faced and I have to say truly the suffering that I went through to get this book from start to finish. Incredible suffering. You can ask me about that in the questions if you want to know more in the comments. But the team at our Sunday Visitor, particularly Mary Beth, prayed me through this. She was there with me through everything, thick and thin. And when I got to the point where I was so discouraged, I didn't know if I could go on, she gave me some space and she pumped me up again and said, okay, let's roll. I'm here for you. So folks at our Sunday Visitor, phenomenal support system. You are the best. I do so love you. And I've loved all of the people I've worked with all of my books, but in this particular situation, when I was tried so much to the extreme, it was so great to have that support system behind me. So all of my thanks. Another thanks has to go to the Sisters of St. Francis of the Holy Cross. When you read the book, they are mentioned as the Bay Settlement Sisters. So that's what they were called in Adele's day, the Bay Settlement Sisters, Sisters of St. Francis of the Holy Cross. These amazing women, they, in particular, since Sister Nancy there, they opened their archives to me. Now, why are their archives important? Because they took on the mission of Adele right from some of the women who were then members of the Sisters of St. Francis worked hand in hand with Adele before she died. They carried on after Adele's death for 150 years. they carried on that mission and ministry. So their archives they date back to Adele's time, real documentation, artifacts. They opened that to me. To my knowledge, and I do stand to be corrected, but to my knowledge and from what I learned from the sisters, I am the only person in terms of authors and those making projects and things about that the Our Lady of Good Help apparitions. I am the only one that they opened their archives to. So I saw with my own eyes the actual documentation, the letters, Adele's own handwriting when she signed things, the ledger book she kept to balance the supplies and the finances for the orphanage that she opened up there for the children, the boarding school. So privileged, and it was amazing and tear-jerking to stand there and look at these exact documents, the real thing. There are copies in the archives at the Diocese of Green Bay, and I'll talk a little bit more about that because I do have some questions that have been entered that regard the research. But they gifted me, Sister Nancy gifted me with this. This, I have to hold it better for you. There you go. This, my friends, this is the first, if not one of the first, but Sister Nancy believed this is the first devotional ever written in honor of Adele Breese, Sister Adele Breese. First ever. That means, my friends, she died in 1896. That means this dates back to the early 1900s, if not before. And it is, you can see, I don't know, you can see it. The pages are pretty frayed. This is not a copy. This is the original. And they had it in the archives. And Sister Nancy gave this to me. Sister Nancy, one of the sisters of St. Francis of the Holy Cross, gave this to me as a gift. This devotional sat on my desk just to the right of my monitor. And as I worked on the book, I conversed with Sister Adele. I do. I taught, the church militant, the church triumphant, the church suffering, we're all together. And I have a very good relationship now, especially with Adele Breese, because when I was puzzled, when I couldn't figure out a section, a sentence, couldn't find a source, I would pray to Adele for her intercession. So that book, that devotional is very important to me. I want to look here, and I see some questions coming in. And I'll answer the one about Michael real quick, and I'll go back to the other one about the struggles. Michael has done a show on the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help, the apparition. You can look it up on EWTN. It aired on EWTN. It helped him a little bit with that, not substantially, but a little bit. He had some questions. He didn't know exactly how to locate a source, or some questions about some of the documentation. And so I was very surprised and humbled to see my name in the credits at the end. But it's an amazing show. So please do look it up. EWTN. Michael O'Neill, the Miracle Hunter, he did do a show on the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the title of that show. But if you look up those two topics on the EWTN website, I'm sure that you will find it. All right, I want to go now to a couple of other tiny little housekeeping things. And I want to mention, before I forget, I have to thank the people at the shrine of the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. The former events coordinator, communications director, Corey Campbell. I hope you're watching. If you're not, I hope somehow you catch this. If you are a friend of hers on Facebook, let her know that I'm so grateful for the help she gave me in researching. She helped me set up interviews. Folks, I interviewed two of the women I interviewed, and I interviewed a lot of people. Their great grandparents were part of the great fire and the miracle that occurred at the Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help in 1871. You got to read the book to find out more. But grandparents witnessed this miracle through the intercession of Adele, who was still living at that time, of course. Spoke with them. Corey was instrumental in setting up these interviews. I also interviewed some of the sisters of St. Francis of Assisi. I forgot to mention that when I talked about the sisters. And that's important too, because these ladies, there weren't any of the original sisters, but there were sisters who had worked there very, very early on and gave me all of their memories, and it was astounding. But the shrine, the folks at the shrine, in addition to Corey, Don, Father John, you and so many more. Kathy, there's so many more. There's too many, because they were a huge help to me in conducting the research. One of the most awesome things, as far as I'm concerned, is that, I don't know if you'll be able to see this very well on camera, in the middle of the book, there is a 16-page, they call it a signature in the publishing industry, 16 pages of authentic photos. All right, so these are reproductions of authentic photos from the shrine's history. They are in the archives at the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. Also included, and it is colored, by the way, I don't, in case you can't tell that on camera. Now, obviously, the older pictures are from, the late 1800s or earlier. They are black and white because they didn't have color pictures, and they've not been colorized. Some of the pictures I took on my trips, during my trips up to the shrine to do research. So 16 pages of pictures. Incredible. Now I'm going to bounce back and answer the questions that I'm seeing coming in, but then I've also got a list of questions that came in already, comments on my Facebook page or elsewhere that folks asked me if I could please answer. Here's one, and this is again from KA. What struggles did you have, Marge? So I assume that you're talking about struggles I had in the writing of the book. One of the primary ones, and this I think anybody who tries to do any project regarding the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help or the apparitions, this was in 1859. So documentation did not exist in the way we know it today. Most of the history was oral history passed on from person to person, generation to generation. So there's no hard and solid paper or database that you can go into to get the original story. Now, I want to qualify that because the original story was dictated by Adele to Sister Pauline and written down. Okay, so we do have the original story, and that again, that goes back to the archives of the Sisters of St. Francis of the Holy Cross. Okay, so that was one struggle, trying to find information about a time in history where people never thought to write anything down. There weren't a lot of cameras for pictures, so people just weren't thinking about recording history at that time for the future in the way that we know it to have been recorded right now, say when we set up things. All right, so that was the first thing, was trying to find and verify my research. And it meant interviews, as I mentioned, it meant the archives, it meant tons and tons and tons of internet research, to the point sometimes where my neck and back would be sore, and I had to start setting a timer while I worked so that I would be reminded to get up and move around every once in a while because it was so intense. But what were the trees like? What was the flora like at that time? What was Wisconsin like at that? On and on and on. What were the Belgian people like? What were their customs? Those were some of the struggles. Personally, it was a giant project. It, to date, I think is the biggest project I've taken on so far in terms of the research and the work that went into it. Now, spiritual work goes into all my books, and I'm always exhausted by the time I'm done with a book because I put so much into it. But these struggles in particular, these were spiritual ones where I could feel the nasty guy wanting and trying desperately to deter me from finishing this book. He made it very clear, and there was some spiritual warfare that was unprecedented in my life. My entire family was under attack. Praise be to God. God is always victorious, and he has been victorious, but there were some very extreme trials throughout my entire family. And we did consult, my husband and I did consult a priest who was trained in spiritual warfare to help us out. And he did indeed. And that's another Father John. I owe you, not the same Father John from the shrine, but a different Father John. I owe you big time. We owe you, because he really helped us. So that the constant attacks were threatening and very difficult to endure. But I have to say again, all glory and praise to God in all situations, because instead of crushing me, crushing my husband and I, he has made us stronger and more devoted. So those are the struggles. There are other questions. Now, if there are any questions in the comments, I'll go back to those. I'm not seeing any right now, but then I'll go back to the ones that were already submitted to me. And let me just adjusting some things here on my desk. All right, so Sandy asks, how long did it take between conception of this project and completion? Oh boy. Conception to completion was, I would say, 3.5 years. 3.5 years, and then add on a number of months beyond that due to the supply chain issues in terms of the actual release date. Now, today was supposed to happen on June 27th. So June 27th was the original scheduled release date for America's Mary, and it had to be delayed because of supply chain issues. And so we had to wait, but we're here, and it's today, and October is the month of the Holy Rosary. So how much better can you get than to have a book released in the Blessed Mother's month? So that's how long. It was about 3.5 years from initially thinking about it and trying to put it together. It was very difficult in the beginning to piece together. It was so enormous of a topic that it was hard. It took a lot. It was a lot of spinning wheels in the beginning to try to figure out, no, it's not going to work like that. Well, it has to be like that. So anyway, but close to about 3.5 years. And then I want to go back to, and I do see there's more questions in the comments, and we'll get back to those. Now I want to move on to Sheila's question previously posted. And it's, how many hours, days, weeks did you actually spend at the shrine in order to write this true story? Wow. It's about a 2-hour drive from my home to the shrine. And so I made that, I can clearly remember, about a dozen trips. So what do you got? That's about 24 hours of just the driving. And then add each time I was there to probably 6 to 7 hours. And I'm not good at math. If somebody's listening and doing the math, tell me what that is in the comments. But it would be 24 hours of driving, and then 12 times 7. That's the number of hours, just the trips alone, making the trips and spending time out there. Now, there were times I went up just for my own self, and I didn't necessarily count those as research trips, but in a sense I was researching because I was taking in the atmosphere and the holiness of the place. So I hope that answers your question, Sheila. Let me know if I didn't. I will circle. I'll go back to it. and try to do it again. All right, now Sandy had another question. This is a big, oh wow, this is a toughie. What fact touched you the most during researching the book? What fact touched me the most? Wow, I feel like my heart was hit in a good way, left and right throughout the entire writing. What touched me the most was the fact that, well, it's twofold. All right. The fact that the Blessed Mother came here. You know, we've all, probably all, heard about Lourdes and Fatima, maybe Cabejo, all of the, I call them big name apparitions of our Blessed Mother. And those are easy to recall, but they're far away. They happen far away. And here was this place in the middle of farmland in Wisconsin. And it still is. It's in the middle of farmland where the Blessed Mother touched the earth to give a special message and mission, to a young Belgian woman. But that message and mission wasn't just for Adele, it's for us today. That blew me away, and that went round and round and round in my mind and heart the whole time I was working, round and round and round and round. So that she came here to our country. And what does she say? Part of what she says to Adele when she did speak, there were actually 3 apparitions, by the way. And it was on the 3rd that Mary spoke to Adele. And she said, gather the children in this wild country and teach them what they need to know for salvation. And then she ends that with, go and do not fear, I will help you. Teach the children in this wild country. Don't we still have a wild country today? Okay, so that was top. The second most touching fact that I ran across was Adele's unwavering, and I want to say unprecedented, but there are others who had such trust in the Blessed Mother, but unwavering. Nothing through Adele. Nothing. She remained calm and confident, trusting in the Blessed Mother no matter what happened. And I will tell you that there were so many, when you read the book, you will see the trials that Adele was put through from start to finish, her entire life long. Unbelievable. Never wavered, constantly trusting in the Blessed Mother. So that was Sandy's question and answer. Chris asks, why is it still so little known in the U.S. and around the world? And he's talking about the apparition of Our Lady of Good Help. Why is it so little known? That was part of my research. I had to look into that because I will tell you that for myself, it was, I had never heard, I had never heard about the apparition of Our Lady of Good Help in Champion, Wisconsin. Some call her Our Lady of Champion because of where she appeared. I knew nothing of this until Bishop David Ricken of the Diocese of Green Bay made the formal proclamation that this apparition, this miracle, was worthy of belief. And National Catholic Register asked me if I would write a story about that, do an article for National Catholic Register regarding that proclamation and this shrine that I had never known about before. Well, that made me think, how come I didn't know about it? I love the Blessed Mother. I'm always looking into all things Mary related. And what I discovered, Chris, is this. And I want to make sure I pretext this. This is not in any way disrespectful of the Belgian people. I've come to love the Belgian people, their culture, their character, their everything. I have such respect for the Belgian people. Okay, but what I discovered was, and this is from talking to people, fourth generation Belgian immigrants there in that area. That, as a matter of fact, that area, they called it base settlement. There, that area in northeastern Wisconsin is the most dense population-wide community of Belgian immigrants anywhere in the country. And so I looked into these people and I realized I had to get into their brains, so to speak, and figure out why is it that it was, 150 years, more than 100 years before it actually became known, even to make it to the Catholic media. Well, here's the thing. You have to understand that when the Blessed Mother appeared to Adele Breese, remember the population, it was a large Belgian community, but population-wise, development-wise, our country was still very young. And so news didn't travel very quickly, first of all. The other thing is that this was Adele's apparition, and it became a very local thing. Yeah, the Blessed Mother came to Adele, and this is here in our community. And so it was kind of their Mary, their apparition, their little secret. And they just didn't see the need to spread word about it. It was theirs. It was for them. The Blessed Mother came for them. And it was just like, yeah, that's our shrine. That's our, well, at the time they didn't call it a shrine, they called it a chapel. That's our chapel. And yes, that's where the Blessed Mother came. And as the population, and also the Belgian people are very, I want to get the right word. They're very loving and joyful, but they're also somewhat cloistered because of their devotion to each other. Okay, so the idea of inviting outsiders into their miracle was not comfortable. And even still today, when you talk to folks in the area, they are not very excited about the shrine becoming too developed, because this is their community. Like as I said earlier, it's surrounded by farmland. They don't want that taken away. This is their heritage. They didn't want their heritage taken away. And so they didn't feel a need. They didn't want to open it up to outsiders. And that's why it's become so little known. So, Chris, this is why I wrote this book, because it's so little known and it needs to be known. The whole world needs to know what the Blessed Mother said to Adele Breese on October 9th, 1859. And we need to embrace it and make it our own. All right, next one. And I do see there are more questions coming in the comments, and I am going to address those, I promise. But I want to get to the ones that were previously issued to me. So Maria asks, what sparked your devotion to Mary? When I was a year old, I was dedicated to the Blessed Mother by a very holy priest who loved the Blessed Mother. His name was Joseph Cantonek. I was dedicated to the Blessed Mother. I firmly believe that at that moment, she, in a very concrete way, accepted me as her child and has never let go of me. So my devotion to her, I smile and I think it's not so much my devotion to her, but her devotion to me. And because she grabbed hold of me, and I've not always been a perfect person, ask my family, but she grabbed hold of me and has never let go. So to be devoted to the Blessed Mother was completely natural for me. And if you've read my book, Forgiving Mother, it's up there behind me on the shelf. If you've read my book, Forgiving Mother, you know that I was raised by a very extremely mentally and emotionally troubled mother who was abusive. And so for me, the Blessed Mother She was my mom. She was my mom, very, very, in a very real way. So it's twofold, but that's what sparked my devotion to the Blessed Mother. And I will tell you that it just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. And I'm amazed, every time I think I love her as much as I possibly could, then I realize, oh no, I'm still falling short because she is so amazing and she's so deserving of love. Okay, need to move on to questions because I don't want to skip over or ignore. So, all right, and then Nanette says, what is the first miracle of Our Lady of Good Help? That is very difficult to know because remember, as I said earlier, in those early years, not everything was documented. So there's documentation alluding to miracles. And I looked at some very, very old newspaper clippings. I mean, just old, as far back as I could go, of the time of Adele. So I don't know that they've got any particular date or person attached to the very first miracle. I do know that there have been miracles throughout. I know that in the early years they were, I would say, primarily, or the majority, were miracles of some kind of healing or financial troubles, farming troubles. Remember, the early farmers, they were, and still farmers today, they were at the mercy of the weather. So those kinds of miracles where, there was extreme poverty and somehow the Blessed Mother helped to provide. There are countless miracles of Adele, who became Sister Adele. She formed a community, was a non-religious community. They were secular Franciscans, a community of 5 women. They did dress like what we know as nuns today, but they were secular Franciscans. In any case, so these 5 women taking care of hundreds of children in this boarding school and orphanage, they depended entirely on donations. And there were many, many stories that I ran across, and a number of them are in the book, where they put the children to bed at night, and Adele and the sisters sat there and realizing that the cupboards were completely empty. 100% completely empty. And they did not know what they would feed those kids for breakfast. Nothing. They had nothing. Adele would say, all right, all of you go to bed, rest. I'm going to go to the chapel and pray. And goodness gracious me, oh my, in the morning, either on their doorstep already or shortly after rising, someone would have brought supplies so that they could feed the children. Again and again and again and again and again. Now today, what I'm hearing from the shrine, and they don't like to, they cautioned me, the folks at the shrine, not to play up, so to speak, the miracles so much as the message of Mary. And I want to be very careful of that and very respectful of what I've been asked by the shrine. But the miracles, they said that they're seeing today more often, and there are miracles of healing, is miracles of conversion. Hardened sinners suddenly turning to the Blessed Mother, things like that. So, first miracle, I don't know. And I'm sorry about that for as much as I research. Okay, now let me get to some of these online questions, all right, because I think there's a whole bunch back here. and I again, I didn't mean to ignore you. I wanted to make sure the other ones that were submitted got answers. So, oh yes, someone mentioned Father Looney's show on the Belgian roadside chapels. I do mention that in my book, not his show, but these Belgian roadside chapels. And I encourage you to look up Father Edward Looney. You can just search Father Edward Looney, Belgian roadside chapels. What he has done is out of this world. I believe I know I've seen a lot of his stuff on Instagram, could be Facebook. And so please look it up because it's astounding, and it is a custom. One of the parts of the Belgian heritage that continues till this day. It's just way cool, way cool. He did a pilgrimage of these Belgian wayside chapels, roadside chapels, and it's just fantastic. So they're the coolest thing. I want my own. But we don't live in a spot where it's conducive for me to build one of those. All right, and then have I been on Relevant Radio yet? I was on the morning air show. Let's see, Monday the 17th. So this past Monday. Goodness. It seems like a long, long time ago. So much has happened this week. So yes, I was on Relevant Radio's Morning Air. If you want to hear that segment, you can go to the Relevant Radio website. Go to the Morning Air. There's a drop-down menu that says shows. Go to Morning Air, and you can click on the archives and go back to October 17th, and you'll see that my segment in that show. So you can listen there. It was great fun. I have expectations that I will be on Relevant Radio more. I can't say that ahead of time until things are set. So definitely that's down the pike. There are other interviews down the pike. If you know anyone who would like to interview me, please let them know. Let them know. Let me know. Put us in touch because I need to get the word out about this book for the sake of our Blessed Mother and the mission and message she has given us. All right, next question. Let's see. Okay, I think we've answered all of those questions so far, and I hope folks ask more. There's not a lot of time left. So now's the time to pose your questions here in the comments, and so that I can answer them. I'd like to pose a question to you. So a number of you. Oh, let me just break and I just have to go back right now on Amazon. The Kindle version of America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help, is only 99 cents. I highly recommend, for the sake of those beautiful pictures, that you get a hard copy. But if you want to order a hard copy from my website at 30% discount and use the code 30NOW, if you want to get a head start on your reading, you can get the Kindle version from Amazon, 99 cents. As far as I understand it, it's today only. It will end today. It's been going on for a little while. If you do that, if you get that 99-cent Kindle version, email me, please, and I have a special promotion for you. I have a special deal for you. So 99 cents, Amazon, Kindle version of America's Mary, story of Our Lady of Good Help. Email me at marge@margefenelon.com and let me know that, and I've got a special offer just for you. Okay, and now someone is mentioning Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Ave Maria Radio. Hey, figure out, if you follow a particular media outlet or show, send them an email. Let them know about me. Let them know about my book. As a listener or follower, you have some pull with them because they want to make sure that they answer the needs of those who listen to and follow them. Send them an email and say, would you please consider putting Marge Steinink-Fenelon on to talk about her book, America's Mary. That would be a huge, huge help to me. So please do that, my friends. Now, moving on, because I broke my own question, but I'm really curious to know from you your impressions of America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. And I don't mean a book review, although if you've read the book, if you purchased the book from Amazon, your reviews are invaluable to me. Please, 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 please post a review on Amazon. If you did not purchase your book from Amazon, please comment on the books page on my website. So margefenlon.com. You can look at, there's the menu that goes across the top of the screen, says shop, the drop down, and then it's a drop down menu. You click on books, go to the page, it'll show you America's Mary is one of the first books listed. Click on that, America's Mary, and it'll take you to that page, and then you can enter comments in there on that page. That would just be such a huge help to me. Because why? Not to pump up my ego. I'm the Blessed Mother's servant. I shouldn't even have an ego. But it lets other readers know your thoughts and encourages other readers to get the book and read the book so that they'll know about this extremely important message and mission for you and I today that came to Earth here in the United States in 1859. Okay, let me look at the, thank you, K.A. Appreciate that. She said she will do. Okay, now here's, Marcia has another question. Well, this is a comment, and I'm going to, Marcia, if it's okay with you, I'm going to read it out loud because I think this is fascinating. So, it was known as Robinsonville. Okay, yes, Champion, Wisconsin was originally Robinsonville. The change came, it had to do something with redistricting the postal areas, and then that change was made. So it's in the book. There's some stuff in the book that explains that. Why was that change and how that occurred. Anyway, I don't have time today because we're running out of time. I will stay on a little longer if people are really active and have questions. All right. Anyway, here's Marcia's remark. It was known as Robinsonville as I grew up, but I didn't go because there was another Wisconsin site that was found to be false until Bishop, I'm sure she's referring to Bishop Ricken of Green Bay, officially approved Champion as, oh goodness, I am really sorry, approved Champion as authentic. I waited. Now she says, I have been there often and find it to be so peaceful, restful. Marcia, you hit the nail on the head. Part of my research, and it was informal research, and I only mentioned this toward the end of the book, but the whole time I was working on the book, I was doing an unofficial polling, kind of a casual survey. And anytime I would meet someone who had already gone or was going to go to the shrine, I asked them, what is your, or was your first impression? What was or is the very first thing that impresses you, touches your heart when you step onto that property? Every single person, this is phenomenal, says one word. Marcia, I bet you know what that is. It's peace. I want all of you to know that peace. When I went up there for the first time, I went with my husband. It was the two of us together. And I'm always, I'm a journalist. That was my original training. And so journalists don't believe anything until there's proof, right? So we go up and it's like, I got to check this place out. I'm hearing all this good stuff about it. Yeah, I got to go check it out. And we get out of the car and step onto the parking lot. There wasn't much of a parking lot at that time. It was gravel. Now they have a nice parking lot, thanks be to God. But as soon as we stepped out of the car, and I breathed in, and I said, Mark, do you feel that? He goes, you say it first, because I'm feeling something. I said, it's peace. He goes, yeah. It was this overwhelming sense of peace. Never, ever before have I felt like that. I've been to the Holy Land. I've been to Jordan. I've been to the place where Jesus was baptized. I've been to Knock, Ireland. I mean, but peace. And I encourage you, I want to say beg, but I encourage you, visit the shrine. Now, even if you're not a local, you make it a trip. It's beautiful. That area of Wisconsin is beautiful. The people at the shrine will help you to plan your trip. There are great places to stay in Green Bay. Green Bay is a great city to visit. It's, I think, 20 minutes from the shrine, so it's very close. It's quite doable, my friends. You'll never regret it, ever, ever. And if you go, when you go, send me an email at marge@margefenelon.com. I would love to know how your experience was. Okay, there's more questions coming in, so I want to get to these. Oh, Beverly, thank you. Yes. She said she just bought the book. She hadn't known anything about America's Mary. You go, girl. That is, yes. I'm so excited. I just want desperately for people to know about the apparition of Our Lady of Champion, Our Lady of Good Help in Champion, Wisconsin. Okay, the Walk to Mary is another thing. If you are local, at the shrine every year, and I think it's May. Someone correct me if I'm not sure. I believe it's in every May. They do the Walk to Mary. They walk from the shrine of the National Shrine of St. Joseph in De Pere, Wisconsin, to the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. It's an all-day walk. It's an amazing experience. Okay, next one. Okay. So Sandy mentions feeling peace while visiting the Padre Pio site in Italy. I've not been there. Wish I could. Would love to. So I can't speak to that. But I think that for sure, anywhere that heaven has touched earth, there's going to be a sense of peace. My personal experience is that the peace at the Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help is different in that it was very encompassing. It was not only that there was peace within my heart, but the place felt peaceful. I realized later, after, in fact, that first visit, after we had gone to, they call it the apparition oratory. So it's the underneath the chapel, the main chapel, there is an oratory. So a very small prayer chapel that was built on the spot where that maple and hemlock tree over which Mary appeared to Adele, that is the spot. It is believed to be, or very, very close to the spot Mary actually appeared. In any case, going down there and then coming back out of it, I realized that the peace I was feeling at the very beginning of that trip was the presence of the Blessed Mother. My friends, you'll feel her there. You do. You feel her there. And anyone else who's gone, let me know if you had that same sense. All right, more comments. Yes, this is true, Sandy. All right, so Sandy and I both are members of the Apostolic Movement of Schoenstatt, which is a Marian yet Christocentric lay movement within the church. And yes, we have 200 and I lost count. More than 260 shrines throughout the world that are dedicated to the Blessed Mother, and we call them Schoenstatt shrines. And every time a shrine is dedicated, we ask that the Blessed Mother would please come and dwell there for all who visit. So yes, that is another kind of peace, and it is a very special. The bishop of the Diocese of Madison, Wisconsin, who has since passed, Bishop Morlino, he held a celebration or officiated at a celebration at the shrine in Madison, Wisconsin, the Schoenstatt Shrine there. He talked about it as when you are there, Mary whispers. Mary whispers in the shrine. And I think of that, and I think that's a perfect description. So, folks, I want to go back to, as we're my God, this hour went so fast. Oh my goodness. I just want to reiterate just a couple of things. Today only 30% off in my online shop. All books, all gifts, everything that's there. 30% off your entire order. Just enter, when you go to checkout, enter the code 30 now. 30 now. It can be uppercase, lowercase. I don't think it's case sensitive. I typed it in 30 now with now all caps, no spaces. 30 now. 30 now, 30% off everything in my online shop. Remember that today, and I was informed that it would end today on Amazon. If you would like to get a head start on the hard copy and reading the book, you can, for 99 cents, get the Kindle version of America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help on Amazon for just 99 cents. If you do that, when you do that, shoot me an email, please, at marge@margefenelon.com. I got a special offer just for you. Remember, folks, that anyone who entered a question for this live broadcast will be automatically entered into a drawing to receive a free copy of America's Mary. I always turn my books weird. America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. It's odd doing everything in reverse, let me tell you, if you've never done this before. So that, and then I encourage you, please look up Father Looney's show on the Belgian roadside shrines, chapels. They're not called shrines, chapels, roadside chapels. Father Edward Looney. You can look up Michael O'Neill's, I almost said Father O'Neill, Michael O'Neill's show, EWTN show on the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help. I also encourage you, I ask you, please, and this from the bottom of my heart, please go to margefenelon.com. When you are shopping, after you're done shopping, you get your order 30% off. Please consider subscribing to my website. You'll automatically receive a free sample chapter of America's Mary, the story of Our Lady of Good Help. That is for your use. You could pass it on to someone you know that you want to entice to get the book. And then you'll also become one of my team members. Team members, the team membership is free. Basically, it means that it entitles you to what I'm doing. So my blog, my podcasts, my announcements and special things coming up, and then my weekly newsletter that I call Mary Mail, which once a week filled with inspiration and prayers, everything and anything I can find to help you in your prayer life, your spirituality, your Catholic faith. So become a team member. There is an option there if you choose to upgrade your membership. I have 4 different levels there that you could upgrade your membership for the price of a cup of coffee. It'll entitles you to a little more of my content and so on. This helps me, my friends, to further my mission of leading the world to Christ through Mary. There are expenses, and I try to offer as much of my work free as I possibly can, so that I can touch as many hearts as possible. So margefenelon.com, at least come on board to get my weekly newsletter and my announcements and the other special offers that I extend to my team members. So I'm going to wait just a little minute in case there are any more last minute questions. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to very quickly, I want to go back to, I see some reviews on Amazon. I'm looking at the Amazon page right now. I'm curious to see how many they have left in stock. Okay, out of stock on Amazon. Wow, wow. And this is just hours. I looked at about 5 this morning and it was open, the page for ordering, and now out of stock. So looks like available to ship in 1 to 2 days. Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll see. So, but get your order in. Go to my website, margefenelon.com, and guess what? I've got plenty in stock right now, and I'll send it right out to you. Plus, with 30 now, the discount code, you get 30% off everything in my bookstore. All right, my friends. This hour went so fast, and I want to end with one of the thank you, Sandy. I want to end with one of the prayers from the devotional to Adele Brees that I was gifted by the Sisters of St. Francis of the Holy Cross. And sadly, I did not bookmark it because the pages are so old. Mind you, it's more than 100 years old, this little booklet. I didn't bookmark it because I didn't want to ruin the pages. All right. And I should have put a little bookmark in there, but here's a beautiful prayer. And the prayer is, Mother dear, oh pray for me. Mother dear, oh pray for me. I love that. Isn't that the coolest thing? All right. So if you would just please Marcia says Sandy says congratulations on being out of stock, and Marcia says pre-orders probably wiped them out. Yeah, I think so. I know that there are a ton of people who pre-ordered the book. So don't let that stop you, because they will be restocking, I hope, very soon. But then again, I've got copies right now on my website. Anyway, pray with me. Let's end this with a prayer, and I encourage you, plan a trip to the shrine, the National Shrine of Our Lady of Good Help in Champion, Wisconsin. If you go, let me know. Shoot me an email, marge@margefenelon.com. I'll see if I can meet you there. Let's get a group together and spend the day there at the shrine. Maybe, who knows? Maybe, and I'd like to very soon do a pilgrimage there and invite you along. But if you go, let me know, marge@margefenelon.com. Encourage you, go visit, and please, 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 my friends, get this book, not because of me, but because of her, because of the Blessed Mother, because of the endurance and dedication of Adele Brees in carrying on her mission and message that has now become our own. All right, let's pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Mother, dear, oh pray for me. Whilst, and you can tell it's old language, okay? So I'm going to start again. Mother dear, oh pray for me. Whilst far from heaven and thee I wander in a fragile bark o'er life's tempestuous sea. O Virgin Mother, from thy throne, so bright in bliss above, protect thy child and cheer my path with thy sweet smile of love. Mother dear, remember me, and never cease thy care, till in heaven eternally thy love and bliss I share. Mother dear, oh pray for me, should pleasure's siren lay e'er tempt thy child to wander far from virtue's path away. When thorns beset life's devious way, and darkling waters flow, then, Mary, aid thy weeping child, thyself a mother show. Mother dear, remember me, and never cease thy care, till in heaven eternally thy love and bliss I share. Mother dear, oh pray for me, when all looks bright and fair, that I may all my dangers see, for surely then 'tis near. A mother's prayer, how much we need, if prosperous to be the ray till paints with gold the flowery mead which blossoms in our way. Mother dear, remember me, and never cease thy care, till in heaven eternally thy love and bliss I share. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Now, just a little add-on there is that prayer was originally a song. I would have loved to hear that sung, but it's gone to history, at least for now, unless somebody knows that prayer and knows the tune. In any case, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. Again, Marge at margefenelon.com. Check out what I've got there. And, one more thing. Sandy knows the prayers. Aha! She said she thinks it might have been sung in grade school. Okay, so a clue. If you know anything about that prayer, let me know. I'm curious. Hey, you've been great. Thank you so very much. Pray for me. I pray for you. I really do. Every single day. May our dear Lord bless you, and may our Mother Mary protect and guide you always. All right, my friends. Very nice. I'm getting thank yous for the book launch. You are very welcome. My pleasure. I didn't want to just be here with not being able to communicate with my readers and followers on this incredibly amazing day. So, hey, watch my Facebook page, please, my Instagram account, because there's more good stuff coming up. For right now, this has to end so that I can move on to some other things. You guys have been great. I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Continue praying for me. I pray for you. Bye-bye.